podcast. Your host, Dr. KellyRae, is a renowned mindset coach and counselor, often referred to as the inner critic tamer. With a passion for guiding individuals through life's challenges, she specializes in personal growth and emotional healing. In each episode, Dr. KellyRae shares invaluable insights, practical strategies, and relatable stories designed to inspire you to take that first step toward positive change. So, grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and get ready to dive deep into meaningful conversations that empower you on your journey. Let's welcome Dr.
Hey there,
KellyRae.
welcome back to the Getting to the Week podcast. I'm Dr. KellyRae, and if this is your first time joining me, I'm so glad that you're here. This space exists for one reason: to have real conversations about what it means to be human in a world that often feels overwhelming, uncertain, and incredibly noisy. Each week we explore emotional awareness, nervous system regulation, personal growth, and the deeper inner work that helps us navigate life with a little more steadiness and a little more compassion for ourselves. Because let's be honest, sometimes getting through the week is no small feat, am I right? Last week we talked about something that clearly resonated with a lot of people. The episode was called "Why Everyone Feels Like the World is About to End." And judging from the messages I received afterward, many of you were feeling exactly that way. Like the intensity of everything happening right now just feels overwhelming. Not necessarily because something terrible is happening directly in your life at this moment, but because the overall atmosphere in the world feels heavy, unpredictable, and very loud. And this week, something made me laugh out loud that actually connects perfectly to that conversation. I saw a quote that said, "We're really out here living the most difficult section of someone's 2075 history exam." Oh my God. And I thought, well, that might actually be true. Because when you think about it, history always looks neat and organized when we read about it later, right? But when we're living through it, it feels chaotic. It feels uncertain. And sometimes it feels like everything is happening all at once. So today I want to talk about why everything feels so intense right now and what your nervous system might be trying to tell you about it. Let's talk about the reality of living inside history. One thing that's important to remember is that every generation believes they are living through unusually difficult times. If you go back through history and read journals, letters, or interviews from people in different decades, you'll see a pattern. People living through those moments often feel like the world was unstable or changing too fast. But here's the difference about the moment we're living in now. We are exposed to more information, more opinions, and more global awareness than any generation before us. At any given moment, we can instantly access news from across the world, economic predictions, political arguments, social debates, and crises happening thousands of miles away. And while information can be helpful, there's a biological reality we often overlook. Our nervous systems were never designed to process this much information all at the same time. So let's look at what your nervous system is actually doing. Your nervous system evolved to respond to immediate threats. Thousands of years ago, that meant things like a dangerous animal, an approaching storm, a threat to your physical safety. Your brain would recognize the danger, activate your stress response, and help you either fight the threat or move away from it. But today, the threats your brain is reacting to often look very different. They show up as headlines. They show up as breaking news. They show up as heated debates online. They show up as constant alerts and updates that keep telling your brain that something somewhere is wrong. The nervous system doesn't always distinguish between a real danger directly in front of you and a stressful piece of information appearing on a screen. So what happens? Your body goes into alert mode. Your shoulders tighten. Your mind scans for what could go wrong next. Your brain begins preparing for danger, even when you're just sitting at home drinking coffee. And if that cycle continues day after day, the nervous system can become chronically overstimulated. Not because you're weak, not because you can't handle life, but because your system has simply been processing too much input for too long. Which brings us to why so many people feel on edge. When I talk to people lately, I notice something interesting. Most people aren't describing one single catastrophic event in their lives. Instead, they describe something more subtle. They say things like, I just feel on edge. I just feel off. I feel like something bad might happen. I can't quite put my finger on it. I can't seem to relax. Man, my sleep is crazy lately. This is often what happens when the nervous system has been exposed to prolonged uncertainty. The body begins preparing for threats that haven't actually appeared. And that can create the feeling that the world is constantly about ready to fall apart or constantly going to be on the verge of ending. But recognizing this pattern is powerful because it reminds us of something important. Your nervous system is trying to protect you. It's doing exactly what it is designed to do. It just doesn't always realize that not every piece of information requires a survival response. Which is why I want to give you a shift that could help. One of the most helpful things we can do right now is begin creating small moments where the nervous system can return to a state of safety. This might look like stepping away from constant news consumption, whether that be scrolling through your Google headlines, scrolling through any of your social media platforms, all of them. Sometimes it's not just one, it's all of them. It's including conversations with people around you. All of that is encompassed there. Taking a walk outside. I mean, the weather is finally starting to get a little nice, at least here in Northern California. I mean, this would be the time everything's really green too. I mean, we haven't dried out yet, so we're not the golden state or the crispy state yet. We are actually in a really beautiful space to be outside, whether that's putting your feet in grass, whether that's having a small fire outside, sitting by a fire pit. There's something incredibly peaceful about that. This might be reminding yourself to breathe slower. Concentrate on your belly breathing. So many of us are breathing through our chest, that shallow breathing, because we're not even aware of it. We're just doing it. This gives your body an opportunity for you, your mind, and your body to reconnect again with these slower breaths several times throughout the day. Challenge yourself to do that. Maybe morning, lunch, when you get off work, when you're driving in traffic. Give yourself that opportunity, because you'll be amazed at how much you realize perhaps your breathing is off during the day. Bracing breathing. That, oh crap breathing. Also giving yourself an opportunity to put space between you and the constant flow of information. These small actions signal to your body that it doesn't need to remain in emergency mode. This also includes the music that you listen to, believe it or not, right? So if you're in this heightened emergency state, I don't know, metal music may not be the calming choice to have at the moment. Listen to your body. It's time for us to reconnect into our own bodies rather than continually looking outward for, oh, is it safe for me to be in my body? Is it safe for me to fully breathe? Is it safe for me to rest? And that might sound extreme, but so quickly we have gotten out of balance with ourselves. Practicing some of these simple yet highly effective things over time gives your body an opportunity to regulate itself and eventually get to settle down. Think of it as a thermostat setting, right? We all operate at a certain thermostat setting within inside our bodies. And imagine being in this heightened state all the time of always looking for the threat. Think of that as putting your thermostat up to 100 degrees. You're going to fry yourself eventually, right? Or if you slow it way down and let's say put it down to 20 degrees, you're going to freeze yourself out and you're not going to be able to make good decisions. You're not going to be able to think clearly. You're going to just react out of survival rather than responding of, oh, maybe it's a little warm or a little cold, so maybe I should adjust the thermostat. These things that I'm sharing with you are ways that you can help come back to your setting, whatever that is. And maybe it's been a while since you've been there, so play around with it to figure out where you fit in to this, right? Because operating at the world's speed, everybody still is operating at a different speed, so you can't necessarily regulate yourself with those around you, because everybody's going through their own thing in addition to consuming all of this information that's happening. And they say it's happening in real time, but is it? Because now we have AI, and believe me, I'm not opposed to AI. It's a tool, just like my car is a tool to get me to and from work or wherever it is that I need to go. It's what we do with those tools, right? And some people are using these tools to incite more fear. And if we're not careful and we're not doing our own research and we're not slowing down to ask, is this even true? We're just taking it on the chin and accepting it as fact and then going and spreading that like wildfire. I mean, how many people have spread information to find out later it was wrong and have ever come back and said, oh man, I kind of messed up there. I I shared something that wasn't true. I'm really sorry. No, they don't do that. They just keep rolling to the next thing. Because it's sometimes too hard to be humbling and say, hey, I screwed up. I shared something I shouldn't have done. I'm guilty of that myself. There's times when I see things on social media that, just kind of flip a switch in me, raise my thermostat a little bit, because it aligns with something I feel in alignment with. And if I woke up in a grumpy mood, or if I just feel off, or if I'm a little tired, that thing could just really push up my thermostat. And I could almost be tempted to hit the share button or drop down in the comment section and say something. I've learned to pause. I've learned to take a deep breath. I've learned to check in and say, how important is this? Now, I'm not saying I'm, somebody special because I do that. I'm not. Because I have been the person who's just shared stuff without even fact checking, because I assumed it was true. So, when we know better, we do better, right? All I'm suggesting is that taking a pause, taking a good look within to see where you are. Because look, your own individual life is still happening, even as the global community's life is still going too. And they may not all be in alignment with each other at the same time. Rarely. We have 8 billion people on the planet. Pretty highly unlikely we're all going to sync up and be on the same thermostatic setting. It's just not going to happen. But we can do our part by regulating ourselves, right? So if things have felt unusually intense lately, you're not imagining it. You're living through a time where information, uncertainty, and global awareness are reaching us faster than ever before. And while we may not be able to control the chapter of history we're living in, we can learn how to care for ourselves while we move through it. Your nervous system was never meant to carry the weight of the entire world. But it can learn how to find balance again when you give it the space to do so. And sometimes that starts with something very simple. A pause. A breath. A moment you remind yourself, right now, in this moment, I'm okay. And before we close out today, I want to leave you with one question to think about this week. How much of the stress you're carrying right now actually belongs to your life? And how much of it is coming from the constant stream of information around you? And what might change if you gave your nervous system just a little more space to breathe? Thank you so much for spending part of your week with me. I look forward to being with you next week. Until then, I send you so much.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Getting Through the Week podcast with Dr. KellyRae. If you're looking to connect with her or schedule an appointment, here's how you can reach her. Follow her on Instagram at AskDrKellyRae. Check out her Facebook page at Dr. KellyRae. Find her on TikTok at Dr. KellyRae. Visit her website at drkellyrae.com. Or send her an email at drkellyrae@gmail.com. Until next week, Dr. KellyRae sends you so much love.